Hello everyone, it's User1 playing as Michelle Jefferson. This is day 6 of the protest. You may notice that I'm not wearing the suit. That's because the suit is in dry cleaning. Yesterday Michelle was stabbed by some hillbillies who did not like the protest. So today Michelle has a few things to say more aggressively than last time about violence and how we can try to avoid it. So I've actually gone to a good book club today. They played a little movie featuring some videos from Ukraine. And you know, that made me think about a lot of things. It made me learn a lot of things. Not just about violence, about war, about the nature of man. I picked up a book. What do we do with it? About the world, about the war, about the future, about technology, and about cooperation by Aldous Huxley. I read it about to page 30 and it has a few things to say. It's actually really good. I thought it would just say, oh, violence is never the answer, but it acknowledges that in the war there is no room for pacifism, and that's true. It's a pacifist book. It's a book about pacifism. It teaches how to debate against people who want to talk about purely violence. Hopefully it will help me in today's protest, because usually we have a lot of people coming who want to promote unnecessary violence. And you know, we want to stand against this. We want to stand up. We want to say, hey, as long as we can promote pacifism, as long as we can, hey Petro, as long as we can act cool, and that was John actually, I think. Yeah, was it? No, I think it was, but whatever. I keep mixing them up. Anyway, we are early, about 10 minutes early today. You never know what they might pull. They might close the road again for maintenance and then open it the next day. Nevertheless, we're here. We'll see how many people turn up. I certainly have a few things to say, but I have to be very, very careful, because if it seems like I'm promoting violence for even a second, I'll be arrested, and I'm not wearing the suit, so I don't have the buff of charisma as you get with the suit. I don't want to talk much about Ukraine because I know the YouTube is going to demonetize the video. What I will talk about is what the civilians have to deal with, and it's not good. We're talking about losing things that we all take for granted. Welcome to the day 6 of the We Want Justice protest. I'm Michelle Jefferson, the organizer of the anti-corruption group. Alright, let me check time. We should be starting in 10 minutes. I have a few things to say about unnecessary violence. I'm sorry I'm not wearing the suit. Today it's in dry cleaning because it has blood all over it. Yesterday I was stabbed by some extremist counter-protesters. Today I'm gonna debate whoever in the crowd believes the violence is necessary. I'm going to try to promote them. For real? Are they gonna come back? Who knows? The one that stabbed me didn't make it, but surely there will be others. Hopefully the security will keep me safe. I don't know if the police will be able to. That's why I got my own private security showing up any minute now. Do you have any questions about the protest? But yeah, things that we take for granted, including like electricity, the thing that I'm using right now to play this game, water, gas, plumbing, you know, toilets, those kind of things, they go away. You don't have them anymore in a war, be it civil war or international war. Out of the chaos like the one from 2 days does not make it 2 days. People throwing molotovs or whatever. I heard about that, but I didn't see anyone throwing molotovs. Do you know where the name Molotov cocktail comes from? I believe it was from a Russian tyrannical legislator. Pedro, nice to see you, always.
Hey, watch it.
Hugs Pedro. Couldn't get the blood out of the suit, so I'll have to wear this today. Got a few things to say about violence.
Hey, watch where you're going.
Checks her watch. Who cares? We can put all we want. We're starting in 6 minutes. This will be your camera person. Great. Can you do me a favor and film my speech? This guy just snorted methamphetamine or lit a pipe. Okay, whatever, sure thing. Thank you very much. Once we start, there's still 5 minutes left. We'll wait for a few more people to show up. Before I start, does anyone here believe that violence is necessary? Today we'll be doing an open debate. Damn, dude, you don't care. Drug abuse in Cologne City Hall. Well, he's not the first. This is America. That it is. And lifts up his shoulder between a Glock handgun. Oh my god. Oh wait, I think he's Pedro's friend. Alright, well, I keep saying the same stuff over and over, but I think it'll be good to engage the members, especially considering we've had many people try to rile up others to be violent. Well, if law enforcement abuses their authority against innocent civilians, then there should be violence for defense. Of course. Self-defense is a human right for everyone. You can defend yourself if necessary, by any means necessary, but the only response to violence is violence itself. There's no other options once it breaks out. Which is why I'm advocating for pacifism. Exactly. I hope you got your pension on time, because this country does not like veterans as much. The people outnumber government employees about 1,000 to 1. If it comes down to a civil war, it's not obvious who would win. But let me tell you something about war. I've looked into the Ukraine situation, about the reports from civilians from towns that got bombed. The things that you and I take for granted: food, water, electricity, plumbing for your bathroom, gone. Looting is commonplace. Those who say they want total anarchy they don't know what they're talking about. The people, first and foremost, are social creatures. When my country was at war, my people got massacred and pushed out of my country. That's why I chose violence and fought. Well, that's because you had no other choice at that point. Pacifism doesn't work once war breaks out. Pacifism is a preventative measure. Welcome, everyone, to day 6 of the We Want Justice protest. If anyone here believes that at this point violence is the answer, please step up. We'll have an open debate. We need violence. Step it up. Step up, sir. Come. I'm Michelle, organizer of the anti-corruption group. What's your name? Hello. Hello. Pleasure to meet you. shakes hands with Harlow. This is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do an open debate and we're gonna work things out. So, Harlow, you say we need violence. Do you mean at this time we need to use violence? Or do you mean in general that violence is always an option? It depends on the circumstances. We have the right for grievances. We have the right to express civil grievances. We also have the right to use violence if absolutely necessary to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our property. The reason I'm not wearing my red suit is because it was tainted in blood yesterday. I was stabbed by extremist counter-protesters. Violence is the last resort because after violence you cannot expect peace to happen. Do you agree, Harlow? If we want peace, if we want stability, we need to do everything in our power to promote pacifism. Pacifism doesn't mean that I won't fight back if I must to protect my life. Pacifism means that I will not fight unless it is absolutely necessary. Violence is sometimes necessary to protect ourselves, correct. I'm glad we agree on that. In the past few days, a few outliers came to the protest to try to rile people up, to storm the building, to attack law enforcement and government employees. And they believe this will lead to peace. Violence is the last resort. Only because once war starts, be war civil or international, it won't end until everything is destroyed. Things that you take for granted. Things like food, water, electricity, plumbing, all of those things will no longer become a commodity. They will become currency to replace the dollar. Because in war, dollar is useless.
Watch where you're walking, moron.
Who said? Goddamn metagamers.
You looking at me?
Who here believes that violence is the answer right now? I'm doing an open debate. At this very moment, who believes that the way to solve the issue, violence is always the answer? Answer to what? Violence is the final answer. After violence comes only more violence, death and destruction. That's why we need to have a way to resolve our problems through civil means. That's why we've been showing our endurance for the past 6 days, showing up here to express civil grief. When the police come to maintain order, they do it for the purpose of stability. When the military comes, they have but one order, equivalent to tyranny. We already had the National Guard come down here back in 1992. The last time the city believed that the court has failed them to cover for corrupt government employees. There was no electricity. There was no plumbing. There was rampant looting for scraps of food, water, and toilet paper, as well as cigarettes and alcohol. Money had lost all of its value because in any war, civil or international, the only things that hold value is food, water, plumbing, alcohol, and cigarettes. I stand here to promote pacifism because if the civil war starts again, we won't be able to turn the time back and change things, because a time machine doesn't exist. Pacifism is a preventative measure. It doesn't help once the war starts. Pacifism sounds noble. Yet there's many people who come here to disrupt the protest, the civil protest, for the goals of rioting. Stuffs her smoked cigarette butt into her cigarette pack. Yesterday, I sent a city attorney a list of specific demands. We want by July 14th for there to be held elections for a new judge. We want by September 14th for there to be established a day where anyone from the community can come to the city hall for a community outreach meetings. We want the law enforcement organizations, that includes the LSPD, the LSSD, and the San Andreas Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, to be audited by the government for any discrepancies. Now, if any of you believe that violence is necessary, please step up. Good evening. Can you, your fellow friends, move 2 steps ahead? See, we will be forming a line here. Two steps. I can give you 2 steps. 1, 2. Is that right? Great. Does anyone here believe that at this point in time violence is necessary? If you do, we can have an open debate about the subject. You can raise your points, and I'm not here, I'm asking you to join your friend in that line. Okay, violence is necessary, mandatory. I'm not saying violence is never the answer. I don't believe that myself. If that was true, then government law enforcement officers wouldn't be armed. We wouldn't need them in the first place. We won't need the military. What I am saying, however, is that once violence starts, the only way forwards is more violence, destruction of everything that we take for granted. Food, water, electricity, plumbing, everything. Mass looting of the stores, mass starvation. People will eat their own pets just to get by. Now, I ask you, what rational person wants any of that? What rational person could possibly argue that that will somehow lead to peace? That will only lead to the desire for revenge, which will lead to further violence, further war. We stand here today, day 6 of the We Want Justice protest, because we believe that pacifism will prevail. Because once war starts, we will have no room for pacifism. Does anyone here want to advocate for imminent violence still?
Hey, watch where you're going.
No? I'm glad to hear that. No doubt there will be people coming here who will argue otherwise, who will say that the government has pushed us around enough, that we must show them that we outnumber them 1,000 to 1. Tells you list of demands. What do you mean? They have been received. Yes. I have not heard a response at this time, but it was only a couple hours ago when I sent the demands. We stand here to promote pacifism because pacifism is a preventative measure. Like I already explained, once war starts, your money that you've been saving your whole life will be worthless. Nobody rational advocates for war. There's two kinds of people who want war. One is the kind that won't fight in it themselves. The other is an insane person seeking vengeance, with no regard for the damage they will cause to the innocent casualties. Again, I'm not here to spout that violence is never the answer. Maybe we want a regime that's oppressing the population, sure. There's always corruption in every corner of the city. There will always be corruption. You're talking about an organization of people. You can't expect it to be perfect. The truth of the matter is that we outnumber the government 1,000 to 1. That the government relies on taxpayers like us to fund everything. The government has no choice but to listen to our civil demands. That's why we have the First Amendment right to express civil grief in the first place. That's why we have the Second Amendment right, which states the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, and it capitalizes the word arms because it specifically refers to firearms, because this country was founded on an armed revolution against government tyranny.
You disrespecting a lady, huh?
Does anyone else here thinks that violence is necessary at this point? I promote pacifism because I know the cost of war. I haven't fought the war myself, fought any major war myself, but yesterday I was stabbed for the things I believed in. I looked into what's going on in Ukraine. There are reports from civilians how they lost their food, water, electricity and plumbing. How money became worthless and people started bartering. This city used to be a tourist destination where new people would scrounge money to come here. Why is that? Because this city is famous for its freedom of expression, for its creativity. It allowed people to express themselves for who they really were. Now, without judges, we won't be able to seek civil restitution. That's why I sent City Attorney Jack Spencer a list of demands, and the first demand is to elect new judges as soon as possible. Because we need civil resolution to our disputes. Because without civil resolution, there is only war. Civil is our cause for pacifism. We believe that violence is not necessary unless you're presented with a real, imminent, unlawful threat of violence. Thank you. Okay. Now, any of you believe that we should use violence at this moment? Are you willing to... I got shot by the police while unarmed for no reason. And now I have no legal recourse. We have sent a list of demands to the government to elect new judges as soon as possible. These people will stand here yapping all day for nothing. Imagine being on that level of stupidity. Does anyone here speak in favor of imminent violence? I'm willing to host an open debate with you, if you are. I think it's about to be imminent violence. Are you willing to sacrifice all of your money, stability in finding food, water, electricity, plumbing for your bathroom, all of that, and for what? For retribution? What about all the casualties of innocent families that it will leave in its wake? We are people, first and foremost. We are social creatures. Ever since we invented language, we came up with a solution to violence as long as it is not imminent. Pacifism doesn't work in civil war or any kind of war. Pacifism is something we must engage in before a war can even start. Communication, truthfulness, persistence, civil disobedience. Music is free speech. I say storm the place. Who said storm the place?
Get out of my way.
I did. Who is you? Are you willing to give up the things you take for granted?
Don't you push me, fool.
Are you willing to give up food, water, all of your money, electricity? And for what? Because the government, to make a huge impact? Fuck yeah. What about the lives of the families that will be left behind as casualties? Won't they also want war in retaliation? Violence only leads to more violence. That's why it's last resort. If you engage in unnecessary violence, then you invite everyone to be just as violent towards you. We have to work together as people to come to a civil resolution to our problems. If we face tyranny with endurance and civil disobedience, eventually even the biggest tyrant will see through the bullshit. They will realize that our cause is righteous. They will know that without support of their people, they don't have anything. I say we don't need violence because right now they're not posing us with real imminent unlawful violence. What we need is for the city to elect new judges so that we can have civil resolution. Anyone here believe that violence should be imminent at this time still. I'm doing an open debate at the time. I'm sorry I'm not wearing my suit today. I was stabbed yesterday by counter-protest extremists. We don't need violence, but law enforcement on their high horses need violence done on them. What's your name? Whoever said that. Law enforcement, when at their core, stand for stability. When they do their job and don't abuse their power. It's the military that stand for destruction. It's the military's job to ensure total compliance. Cops in the sea stand for destruction as well. Some do perhaps, which is why we need active courts, civil courts, which is, but at this time, we do not need to get unnecessarily violent towards anyone. Not unless they pose us with real imminent unlawful violence. Violence is last resort. We know that violence will only lead to more violence. Who's waiting for court that's pending minimum 2 years? Give them punishment right away. Who are you to be the judge, jury, and executioner? Who are you to decide that one's punishment is death or to be hurt even?
Move out the way.
When law enforcement follow the law, they only utilize violence and the ones who makes the system work, just like everyone who is protesting here. We make the system work through civil disobedience. At this moment in time, the law enforcement is not being unlawfully, imminently violent towards us. And we have to show our resolve by reciprocating it with civil expression of grief. If we respond with unnecessary violence, they will use that as justification to use violence in retaliation. At this point, if you are civil and they use violence against you, they will clearly be the ones in the wrong. And they will, and we all reap what we sow. Violence only leads to more violence. That's why I say that violence is the last resort. We do not need violence at this point. I have sent a list of demands to the city attorney even the worst, even if the worst comes to worst, even if my list of demands gets ignored completely, we can just pack our shit and leave. We do not need unnecessary violence. The government needs us, the taxpayers, to be here, to fund the economy, make businesses, and support one another socially. We are the people. We are social creatures. Military recruiters would have you believe that we are akin to any other animal. But even other animals don't kill each other for fun. They do it out of necessity to eat. Out of necessity to survive. We are intelligent creatures, no matter what anyone tells you.
Bitch.
No rational person stands for violence unless it is absolutely necessary. No peace can come from violence unless everyone is dead.
Easy, partner, watch out.
That's why we stand here advocating for pacifism. Pacifism doesn't mean be a pushover. Pacifism doesn't mean you don't have the right to fight back if you're attacked imminently. Pacifism means you face your oppressor and you express your civil grief. Because if you reach out a hand, if you show that a peaceful resolution is possible, then inevitably they will do the same thing. That's why we're here. 6th day of the protest. We demand judges to be elected. We demand the government to open up for community outreach. We demand that all law enforcement organizations are audited for discrepancies. If anyone here still believes that imminent violence is necessary, please step up.
Get your hands off me.
Good. I'm glad to see that we prevail as a species, as intelligent beings capable of socializing and looking out for each other. if we maintain this, and if we resist the emotional urge to be unnecessarily violent, then the government will have no choice but to do their job that we pay them for in taxes.
What the?
We have the right to express civil grievances, and a lack of judges and lack of police accountability is a very real civil grievance. Like I said, I'm not saying that violence is never the answer. If that was the case, we wouldn't need the police in the first place. We wouldn't need the military. What I'm saying is that once civil war starts, all the things that we take for granted, food, water, electricity, and plumbing, turn from commodities to luxurious currency, and money becomes obsolete because money is useless in war except as toilet paper. Every day that I do this assembly, some people come to try to encourage violence unnecessarily. The fact of the matter is, even if the government completely ignores our demands for new judges to be elected, for community outreach, and for auditing of the police department, of the law enforcement, we outnumber them 1,000 to 1. We can just find another place with a city that will respect our rights.
Are you drunk?
I can sue you for harassment, you know.
Hey, Holly. Now, the reason I'm not wearing my suit
This is a clean suit.
is because yesterday some extremist counter protesters chased me down to my office, broke in with weapons, firearms, bats, and a blade. And I got a blade stuck in my stomach. Pulls up her hoodie, showing stitched wounds on her belly. I was stabbed, and the people who attacked me They were shot. Like I said, violence only leads to more violence. That's why we must do whatever we can to try to avoid unnecessary violence. That's why I stand here promoting pacifism despite the government's seemingly poor performance. Because as long as the government doesn't unlawfully attack us, as long as the government doesn't pose us with a real imminent unlawful threat, violence is not necessary. And that applies not just to the government, but to anyone. If someone says something that you disagree with, you can express that disagreement through civil means. If someone insults you, you can insult them back. But if you show a tyrant that you're willing to speak peacefully, even the worst will eventually come to realize that it's their only option, because violence brings nothing but war with it. And war brings nothing but destruction. Destruction not just of our creative expression, but of our very souls, of who we are as people. It equates us to other animals. It makes speech pointless. Some may say, oh, violence is human nature. No other animal engages in war.
Watch out, man.
Sure, they engage in violence when they are starving for food. But they don't continue with violence against specific groups of people, of animals.
Hey, watch.
That is a purely human nature, to discriminate, to put us into groups and to alienate each other apart. Of course.
Hey, watch where you're going.
If anyone here believes imminent violence is necessary,
Watch out, people.
please step up. Today I'm doing an open debate.
Get your bitch ass out of my way.
Stall out, dude.
I'm the organizer. What can I do for you, deputy? Alright, plan on being here long as all? Nine more minutes until we're done. done for today. Then we'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Like I said, if anyone believes that at this point imminent violence is necessary, step up and we'll debate it out. I have sent a list of demands to the city attorney, who will hopefully forward it to the powers that be. And if we maintain our civil recourse, it will surely. Government, the workers need to experience violence to get a taste of their own medicine. So charge. Is that you? What's your name? Oh wait, that's not you. Who said that? What's your name? I'm Michelle. You say that the government needs to get a taste of their own medicine? And you believe that'll lead to government bending to our demands? It will only lead to violence in retaliation. And if it comes down to civil war, all the things you take for granted, food, water, electricity, plumbing, will be gone. Looting will be commonplace. Where will you get your food once the shops have been ransacked? Where will you go to the bathroom once your toilet plumbing cuts out? How will you charge your phone to communicate with your loved ones if your electricity goes out? Violence will result in nothing but death and destruction of everything. So shoves her cigarette butt into her cigarette pack, pocketing it. We have to promote pacifism. Pacifism doesn't mean that violence is never the answer. It means that violence is the last answer there will ever be. And that we must exercise all other options before that. We don't need pawns to survive. Humans primitively survive. Humans were violent since ever. Yes. Because we existed before we invented language, which was an alternative to violence. Mr. Lawson, thank you again for coming. I'm sorry I'm not wearing my suit today. I got stabbed yesterday.
Oh, you're a big man, huh?
Really? Yeah. Some anti-protest extremists. I would like to thank you all for coming here, showing support for what matters. Civil resolution and our list of demands to the government. The right to express to elect judges as soon as possible, to allow for community outreach.
You disrespecting a lady, huh?
You deserve starving for being that weak.
Look where you're going.
Does it make them weaker that they're dead now? Violence only leads to more violence. It's not the solution at this time because we're not being faced with real imminent unlawful violence. Pacifism is a preventative measure. It will have no play once the civil war starts, if it does, God forbid. That's why we stand here to express our civil grief for the 4th day, for the 6th day in a row. I thank you all for coming, and those who are here being civil. You are contributing to our future, to our peaceful future. Once the government reestablishes exactly, and at that point, all the money you have all been saving would be useless. Toilet paper, that's what it would be good for. People would go back to bartering with, because money is useless in war. Any war, civil or international. People barter with clean water, cigarettes, and alcohol. Is that what we want? No. No one rational wants war. Every protest, some piece of shit comes here to promote unnecessary violence. Shut the fuck up, idiot!
Get your filthy hands off of me!
Flips Osama off. To the rest of you who remain civil, I thank you. And we'll meet here again tomorrow to promote pacifism and to look into how we can help encourage the government to hire more judges.
Watch it.
so that we don't have to resort to unnecessary violence. Thank you all again for your support. I'll see you tomorrow when the blood washes out of my suit. Good work tonight. Come on, let's go.
Don't push a lady. My boyfriend will kill you for that.
They're just trying to rile people up.
Hey, homie, I know.
The crazy lunatics. Don't listen to a word they say. They're just here to promote violence. They're not here for any. Do not touch her.
I have no problem kicking you in.
See what I mean? Violence only leads to more violence. Let's go. Nice, he's dead. Good. Fucking piece of shit. Do finish him. Okay, maybe don't finish him. I don't have to run. He's dead? Oh, good. Fucking idiot. He wanted violence, he got violence. What can I say? I can use violence to protect my friends, but that's because it's necessary. Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching. Today was a shit show. Trying to keep it civil, but yeah. We need civil resolution to avoid violence. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay awesome. Goodbye.